Hi everyone, Lisa from Spellbound Miniatures here. As the name would suggest, we usually make miniatures, but today we're bringing you a full-size make. If you're new to the channel, welcome. And if you're not, welcome back. You can find us on Etsy and on our own website at spellboundminiatures.com. I'll put the links down below and you can find all of our SVGs, both those places. Today I'm going to show you how to make this really cute heart-shaped shelf which you can display either miniatures or small ornaments on, so let's get started. Okay, for those of you that have a Cricut machine, you'll recognise this is the Design Space software that we're using. If you're using a DXF file for your laser cutter, you'll need to import your DXF file into your laser cutter software. So the reason that I'm in this software today is just to show you how we use the green square to make sure this file is the right size and scale. Now, it's made a little more complicated in Design Space than it used to be. To be able to check the size of this, we don't want to ungroup it. What we want to do, because we want to resize, if we need to resize it, we want to resize everything as a group. We take the green square and drag it up to the top and out of the group. Now you can see the group here is separate from the green square. Click onto the canvas, click onto select all, and then come back over to the right and click here to create a new group. And now you can see that they're all grouped together, but the green square is kind of a level above. Click onto the canvas again. It kind of resets it every time you do that, so it's good practice. We can hide everything below the green square, but they're still in the group. And we'll click on the green square and we can see it's measuring just over the inch square that we want. And you'll want to make sure that your canvas is in inches and not metric. So we'll tab over. We want to make sure the ratio is locked. And now this is 1 inch by 1 inch square. We unhide everything else and it will have resized. There's one way to check this. If we click on the group, we press ungroup once, it separates the the square from this. Click off the canvas again, click this lower group and select ungroup again. And now when we click on this frame here, the measurements should be 10.3 by 10.41 inches, and then you know it's resized to the right size. So once you've done that, you're good to go. You can click Make It and you can go and cut all these pieces from 2mm chipboard on your Cricut Maker. If you've got a laser cutter, you can use a 5mm thick product. So we'll go back over now into the studio and I'll show you how we build it. Once you've cut all your pieces from 2mm chipboard or a 5mm thick product, if you're doing it on a laser cutter, you want to get the solid back piece and the back piece with the ovals and glue those together, lining up all the edges, and then get the third back piece that has the cutouts for the hooks or the screw heads and place that on top of, or glue it, sorry, on top of the piece with the ovals, and then press that and make sure the edges are lined up. And I press that under something heavy and leave the glue to set. I just use a regular tacky glue and I like to put the glue on the piece that has the holes. If I put it on there, I might accidentally put glue where the hole is. A good way to line up a heart is actually to turn it onto the two rounded bits first and then just make sure that the point meets at the tip, and then get this piece and do the same. Put something heavy on it, and I press mine under a granite worktop saver. You could use some books or some handheld weights from the gym and leave that to dry. Okay, if you're going to be using the DXF file on a laser cutter and you can cut 5mm, you'll be cutting one of each of everything here, but one pair of those. Those are the 2 uprights here, and then the 3 largest ones are those, and then this one goes there and that one goes there. So the DXF is one of everything except for those 2 there, and for the Cricut you will cut 2 of everything and you'll have 4 of those, and you glue those together in pairs, and that will create the 5mm depth that you need for your shelves. Okay, so we've now painted everything black, and I just used this black gesso and it's really good. One coat and you can't see anything through it. I did the heart as well. I did both sides only in case you can see round sometimes if it was a different colour, but pick your best side. That's my front. So then we glue the shelves on. Now the 3 tallest are the 3 shelves, and all you need to do is, it's a bit difficult whether I'm doing, when I did the the chipboard, which was brown without being painted on brown or black on black, you line it up. The very left hand, let me see if I can get that closer. So the very left hand edge lines up with the bottom, I need another pair of hands here, of the shelf, and then it automatically fits on the right there. So the bottom of the shelf will touch, literally just touch the outside of the heart as it goes round. The top of the shelf, because obviously the shelf is square, is just slightly inside. Otherwise you'd have to shape this shelf to match, and then that would be a lot more difficult. So we've designed it so that the bottom edge of the shelf touches the heart, lines up with the bottom and the top of the front frame, and then it touches that side again. I'm trying to get it in the light so you can see it there. So it kind of locates centrally, so that's all we need to do, is locate each of the shelves in line with the horizontal shelves first. And not, you could do this one and then you could glue that one, or you could do, I did all the horizontals first and then glued the verticals. Let me just, that's not going to balance without gluing. No, just have to pretend that one's there. Let me get a 1, 2, 3 block. They're really useful for getting it vertical anyway while they dry. And then the smallest one goes at the top. The 2 that are the same are these 2 here. It's like dominoes now, it's going to fall over. And then the smaller, the medium one, sorry, not the smallest, the smaller of the 3 there, goes there. So I just used, again, tacky glue. So I'll glue those up and then we'll come back. One thing you might like to do is cut from some nice cardstock or scrapbook paper the basic shape of the heart. That would be the back piece, and then you could fix your shelves onto that, and so you've got a nice lining at the back of your shelves. You could also cut the front frame from a different patterned cardstock and create a different looking front frame. And then what I'm going to show you how to do next is to take the back, plain back piece, take the frame with the cutouts, and we're going to draw through these shapes, just make sure it's lined up nicely, straight onto the back piece. And then what I'm going to do is take, I've got some another scrapbooking here, and I have got some offcuts of this as well, and I'm going to start taking pieces. And the reason, I don't know if that's showing up there, we've drawn the lines is that as long as these pieces kind of cross over onto where the shelf is, we can just overlay them like that, and we know that the actual hole itself will be covered. So I'm going to glue it, almost a patchwork of offcuts onto here. Then when I've got my shelves glued onto here and we stick this down, I'm going to have different coloured materials. Let's find another one. This isn't a particularly nice one, but we'll just do it for effect. So that one would go in there. And then the frame covers up the joins, and we'll start having a very interesting back patchwork effect back to our shelves. Once you've glued them all on here, you can simply flip it over, and then however they end up looking, you can trim around that with a knife so that you've got kind of one piece with lots of that. But I'll do that and I'll come back and show you. Okay, so you can see that I've glued them all on, and it kind of looks like a bit of a mess, but you can see that where the rows are and the shelves are. This is a Teflon sheet I always put down to protect my mat when I'm gluing, and then that's it from the other side. Once it's dried, I'll just take my knife and go around there, and then we'll see that roughly where that fits on. Suddenly has a nice little frame and a different background wallpaper in there, so it'll look nice even if it's empty. And then once that's all nicely glued and dried and pressed together, we just need to glue the front frame with the shelves and the uprights on top. And again, the outside bottom edge of those shelves will help you to line it up, because you know that they kind of need to touch, just touch the outside edge of the heart as it goes round. So that will help you locate it on the sides, and then I've found it's easier to actually put the heart there on its top, and then you can easily see here now if any of those shelves stick out and if it needs adjusting sideways. So you're only kind of adjusting one angle, and then hopefully all the backs line up as well. You can see all the little pockets. So that's what you're aiming at, is for all of these edges at the bottom of the shelf just to touch the outside edge of the heart as it goes round and not stick out. And the easiest way I've found for that, like I said, is to rest it on these two edges, because they're at least 2 points, and then just line up this centrally. So I'm going to put glue on all of these edges, and then we'll turn it upside down, and I'll put my granite block on to press it while it dries. Okay, so this is dried. I had some weights on it to make sure it was all pressed together. I painted the back with the black gesso. I did some of the edge, but we're going to put the side on anyway, so it will cover most of that, and it's looking good. So the next thing, in the SVG and DXF file, you'll see the red rectangles, which is our key for the craft board. If you're using a Cricut, if not, you could use any material. You could use a wood veneer, though. So we cut them just really to be the size to fit over the two, and then maybe a little bit, depending on how much you've pressed it when you've glued it. There's about 1 mil left over here, and then I trim that off with a knife, and you could sand the edge off as well. Whether you want to kind of glue just this edge first, to glue the whole thing, and then go round and glue the back, kind of put some, if you're very neat and can get glue under there, or I think the easier way is to just glue it in sections, so much at a time, press it on and let that take hold, and then gently curve it back, not fold it back, gently curve it back, put glue onto the next section, hold that down. So this is a kind of a lesson in patience, really, but then it'll look really good if you get it really neat, so it's worth it. So that's what I'm going to do now, put the black craft board all the way around the edge, and then it'll be done. And I will show you then, you'll see included is a template for where to locate the holes, sorry. You could do one central one, or you could do two. I'll be showing you how to do the two. We've included a template, so whether you've got picture hooks or screws, I'll show you that afterwards. Okay, so I've been working my way round with the first strip of craft board, and I also meant to say, if you can colour match it, then it's great. Saves you having to paint it. I did paint this one from on the inside once it was built, but it's obviously a lot easier if you can colour match it to the project anyway. So I've done that to that stage. That's the first strip, and then what I'm going to do is get another piece of craft board and create a little sort of just an insert piece, really. It will become clear. It's got to fit in that gap as well, but it doesn't have to be, you know, the most technically accurate piece of craft board. And we're going to put that in there, glue it in there, and then that, when we put the join on, that gives it something to stick to. So I'll just glue that on first. I'm going to just move it around that way, and then slide that under there and just hold it while it dries. Wait for that to dry, and then when I put the next strip on, I'll put some glue on there as well as there, and then that will support that joint. So there we have it. When they come down here, I just trim them off. You can use a craft knife or scissors, and the joins look pretty good, and they're a lot more stable now that I put that little tab under there. And that's it. So we'll hang it up and then we can put some things on there. So to show you how to use the templates today, we're using a mock-up with this stand that Rod kindly built for me for my apothecary clock build. So if you wouldn't mind taking that off, please, darling. We're just going to use the same stand here to show you how to use the template, and imagine this was your wall. So I've cut the template on the Cricut. You need to remember to change the text at the top there to draw, and then it will draw that and then cut the template. And the top here is where the top of your heart-shaped shelf will be. And then this is where the screw holes are. And you just need to decide if you want the one hole in the middle or the two on the outer. So if we can do the two outer ones, please, Rod. And you could use a spirit level along the top here. Obviously, if you were doing it properly on a wall that you were going to look at every day. But this is just for demonstration purposes. So we're going to mark up where we're either going to put a screw in or a drill, depending on the surface that you're actually securing it to. And if you wouldn't mind holding that, please, babe. We're just going to show you here. This is just a random screw we've got. And you just want to make sure that it fits in this hole, the big one. And then as it goes up, it doesn't pull through the top of the slot there. So it's bigger there to get the screw head in, or the picture hook, and make sure that it doesn't pull through. So that's what we're aiming at there. And then if you could screw those in, please, darling. Rod's using a bradawl first, just to help the screw get started. And then once you've got the screw in the wall, if you find that it doesn't locate easily, you might want to screw the screws out a little bit, or if you find it pushes it too far off the wall, you might want to screw the screws in a bit. So that gap there is quite crucial. You want the gap at least as thick as the chipboard that we've used in this instance, which is 2mm. And then ideally get them both the same. And then hopefully hang them on. It's a little bit tricky, like hanging any picture. Might need a little adjustment. And then they should slot down. Awesome. And that's it. So we'll fill that up and I'll take some pictures.